Welcome to the weekly Torah reading. I'm Freema Gottlieb. Shavuot, the time of the giving of a Torah. Imagine you were there with the people, the whole nation at Sinai, huddled underneath the mountain, thunder and lightning in the sky, and God, the Eternal, descends upon the mountain. I am the Lord your God, who took you out of the land of Egypt. Fast forward a couple of thousand years. Ruth, harvest festival, in the harvest setting, celebrates her Shavuot. She is in a field gleaning for corn. There is a poignancy in her solitary outline. She has been cut herself off from her own nation, her royal status as a princess of Moab, and in order to follow her mother-in-law, who is also similarly cut off from the nation of Israel. Her menfolk have taken her away during time of famine to Moab, an enemy country. And her sons have intermarried with the Moabite princesses. And recently she has lost all her wealth and her menfolk and decided to return, free finally to make her own decisions about her life, back to the land of Israel. These two women are supporting each other. The younger Ruth has been devoted to her mother, and then she finally, in the land of Israel, she goes out to the fields, and this is where we see this poignant, solitary figure picking up grains, single grains. What is special about Ruth that we read her story on Shavuot, and that she seems essential to redemption? Zohar says, she, and uniquely, exclusively her, no other woman, not any Jewish woman. At this time, Ruth was a Moabitess, wishing to convert, but not yet, her conversion had not yet been accepted by the Beis Din of the time. So there she is in the field of a landowner, hoping that she will be accepted even as a gleaner. What is special about Ruth? The Zohar casts out the question and says she's unique and does not answer the question. We have to answer it. In the first scene, the whole nation, we have been at Sinai. Here, in this pastoral idyll, Ruth's future and ours is being decided, and our connection to Sinai. What is the Jewish agricultural law of gleaning? Take a cluster of grapes. If you have one grape, the grape that dropped on the ground, that constitutes gleaning. Two grapes, okay, or two of any object or fruit, that also constitutes gleaning. Three is a crowd. Two is company, as they say. Three is a crowd. It's not a crowd, it's a community. That time, that was considered the beginnings of community. And when we see Ruth and Naomi, both of them are cuttings off of their society. They, homing into the land of Israel, are themselves gleanings of the Jewish people, but they have to be accepted. And this is the moment when we look at this image of Ruth. It's in the moment of acceptance, yes or no, because the owner of the field is a near kinsman of the widow, of the older widow, and he has not yet supplied, given, even come to the rescue and redeemed the field of Elimelech. Remember, this is a patriarchy. The field belonged to the man of the family, the estate, and the money belonged to the man. There are no menfolk left in this nuclear family. It is up to a near kinsman to redeem that field so that the women can even have physical support. And he has not offered any at this point. It happened, it chanced, that Ruth, in her kindness to help support the widowed Naomi, goes out, and she went by chance into the field of the near kinsman. There's no chance in life. Chance was God made it happen that she went into the field. What she had to do, and what we find that Boaz, this strong paternal character, quite old, what he requests of her and depends on her for is that she commit to coming back day by day by day to the same field. But she agrees, now she has seen him, to be redeemed by him. He is the redeemer, the patriarch, but she has to be redeemed. And he says to her, your latter kindness is greater than your former kindness. What was her former kindness, her first kindness? It was to Naomi. Naomi was this aging beauty who had lost her husband and had no man. And she gave up, the younger woman gave up her whole life, seemingly, in support of this older woman as a kind of devotion and piety to that, an attachment to support someone who otherwise was totally abandoned. This is what seems her decision, Ruth's decision, seems to be about. What was the final kindness that Boaz thanks her for? He thanks her for coming back each day. And finally, when he has still not recognized her and given the official stamp to her conversion, he, who is the leader of the Av Beis Din, the head of the patriarchal rabbinical court, has not yet agreed that this Moabitess should become Jewish. She has come at night and laid herself down, as Boaz says, to take refuge under the wings of the God of Israel. It is not for the men that she has come. The final attraction is the Jewishness of her lost love, the Jewishness of her mother-in-law, the essential chesed and Jewishness of the whole people of Israel who have not yet opened out to her at all or given her food and water, and the essential quality and loyalty to the Torah of Boaz himself. This is what attracts her. But finally, behind that, the ultimate attraction is under the wings of the God of Israel. And he sees her movement and decision not for love of any individual person, but each individual person was a mirror and a closer mirror of this God, of God's love for her, because she is accepted under his, he said, by God, he said, I will redeem you. If there is no obstacle, no other redeemer, will I not redeem you? And he speaks for God and the Jewish people. And then all the women accept these two. And this is their particular quality. Now, I would suggest, they say that this book is all about kindness, not about any prohibition or do's and don'ts, as we find in the laws of the Torah we have to accept, but just about pure chesed. Now, that sounds very abstract. I mean, pure chesed is universal. Anyone can be good. But the kind of chesed that Ruth evinced was something which spreads, and we know it in evil. We know it in other forms. It is biological, it is spiritual. It grows, it becomes the line of David and the Messiah. But it also spreads in us when we see that moment when she is still, Keats calls it forlorn, but no, she's determined, she's attached, she's forward looking. And yet the rabbis say she's an old soul. She takes the old man whose life is past it, and she takes the old woman who can no longer bear children, and she takes, they say, the souls of the dead, of her dead husband, and souls of the dead who have no worth in them, it seems, almost none, says the Zohar. And she fills them with resurrection and regeneration and new life towards the future of Israel and redemption. This is the quality of redemption, and it's the great quality of David, whose yahrzeit this festival is. Chag Sameach.